Canadian Center for Learning is it has five major themes. We're going to eventually have programs where people would come and take a set of courses that were all presumably interlinked. But they're not only interlinked between, so you might want to take those five courses and call that a year. And you might want to do a 2-year program. And you have these kind of programs, and we're imagining these kind of supports. During those 2 years, you're going to have these kind of placements. For instance, you could go work in Bonnie Millard's lab in Immunoceutica, and you'll learn a little bit about the business side or whatever interests you, the science side, or maybe even the gardening side of the botanical side. And so you not only take courses, but you're going to be networking in with possible jobs in the future and connected to local farmers, connected to the schooling pods, the homeschooling, connected to the sports groups, connected to the community arts groups, connected to the camps that go on all the time, connected to the different career paths, including, we don't have all these connections set up yet, but we're going to be a hub to the real world, from incoming students coming from whatever education system is spitting them out. Presumably there are homeschooling pods that don't want to go into the traditional universities, then they'll find a space at CCL. So for instance, I'm gonna go a little further, okay?
Okay.
This is exciting for me because we're building a new community, a new earth, a new way of living on the planet that respects all life. And so obviously environmental issues are always going to be front and center, but it also respects human rights and autonomy. And we need to be a resilient society that can handle tyrannical governments from time to time by having a network of connections across all communities across Canada. And now it doesn't have to be in Canada, it can be global because there's no real boundaries. I've met, through my U of T Human Rights Tribunal stuff, I've met people in all works, all types of work, including steel workers and power workers and municipal workers. And so I'm going to be meeting with them in the next few weeks to talk specifically about networking. And by networking, they're talking about community networking. And it's like having, the ability to communicate between groups if there's a blackout, like how do you keep those connections going? What I found from the two individuals I've talked to, highly articulate power workers. One of them has worked for 20 years running the power for Windsor. Okay, so it's three guys that keep the power on in Windsor. And this is one of the guys I'm talking to. And they might be interesting in terms of having career paths out of CCL. Okay, so that networking now creates more dimensions at which you can give internships and placements. And so that's a little longer than I thought I was going to say. But the Canadian Centre for Learning is a new model of higher education that wants to develop the skill sets of critical thinking to be sovereign citizens in a peaceful world.
Well said.